Hello and happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Belinda and this is Visualized NZ. And as it's Monday, it's time for a Deal It Up challenge. So let's get into these prompts and find out what we're going to be working with today. I've seen a couple of people, what they made from last week's challenge. Always super fun and encouraging to see what you get up to with these prompts. I just love seeing what you do. So our first one is going to be die cuts or punch. Okay, and our next one, oh, that feels like it wasn't a very good shuffling, so let's do a little bit of a, oops, there's not enough cards here to do a proper, but never mind. Do our best, don't we? Okay, and let's go second to last. Ooh, we're making a tag. Okay. And our last prompt, I don't think we've made a tag so far in the challenge. So always exciting we get something new in our prompts. It was a very rough shuffling job. Let's go. This one, grungy. We have had grungy recently, and that's okay. So we're going to make a tag. It's going to be grungy and using die cuts or punched shapes. So I'll grab my stuff and be back in a tick. I've got together what I'm going to use. So I'm going to start off with a book page from an old, I'm not sure how old, it hasn't actually got a publication date in it, but it's an old book. It's a children's dictionary, and I looked to see if they had the word grunge or grungy, and it didn't. It's not a very big dictionary, but it does have dilapidated. So I thought that might just be an interesting little play on the theme of grungy. And it's got this lovely yellowed colour to it. So just trimming off that. So I don't think I'm going to use the whole width, or will I? I could do. Don't see any reason why I shouldn't. And I've also got some offcuts here of coffee dyed paper, which I thought just kind of brought in some of that grunginess. That couple of pieces here are actually envelope, and then just random bits of coffee dyed that are really nice and dark. So I thought maybe I'll just start by collaging up in some way. I might actually end up covering the word dilapidated, but that's all good. If I do, no real loss. I just thought it might be interesting to have something on there that relates to one of the prompts. So I'm just going to first start by collaging up on the front, and quite often you would do the coffee dyed paper on the back, so it's writable, but I'm actually wanting to use it as my background for my grungy element. Oops, that's not sticking down very well there. I just popped you on pause because I heard my husband coming back in, and he was picking nectarines off of our tree. Look what I've got. He bought me a nectarine. Oh my gosh, these nectarines are so yummy. They're old-fashioned, so they've got just bucket loads of flavour and super yummy. So he's just doing the harvest at the moment. We pop them in the freezer, so we enjoy them all through the winter. We don't actually eat that many fresh because there's a very short window between them being ready and going off. And they've started going off because we had a bit of rain. So the humidity doesn't do them very well at all. So anyway, on with the project. So I'm just continuing to lay down this coffee dyed grungy looking paper. And this bit I actually chose to go with the pattern of the inside of the envelope out because I thought that was just kind of interesting. I don't know whether I've got enough here to do the whole thing. Might have to grab out some more, we'll see, but we'll see how we go. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far, and maybe ready to do a bit of a challenge. Grab some gear and craft along with me. Make yourself up a tag that's grungy using die cuts or punches. So I forgot to show you too, I've chosen out this die cut. It's one that was sent to me in Happy Mail, and it's cut from a paint chip, and it's getting a little bit damaged. I've had it for quite a while, so it would be really nice to have it down on something so it will stop getting bent, and yeah, because it's really lovely and I'd love to use it. I don't know why I haven't so far. Probably I was hoarding it. So let's get it down onto something and hoard it no more. Oops. It's been so hot lately and my glue sticks have gone a bit goopy. Oops, and there's my alarm going off. It's actually just on vibrate at the moment, so it's just buzzing. So excuse me for half a tick while I turn the annoying buzzing off. There we go. Don't need that sort of distraction, do we? So hubby's in the kitchen now, just dealing with the nectarine, so he's listening to every word I say, which is fine. It's a little off-putting, but it's fine. Because I'm don't normally have an audience while I'm doing a video. Oh dear, he's yawning at me. Obviously, I am completely boring. Sending him to sleep. He actually came to the doorway and yawned at me. Isn't it fun having your hubby home? I do love it. Love spending time with him. Now he thinks I'm probably trying to butter him up for something. But how could I? He bought me a nectarine fresh off the tree. Warmed by the sun. I am going to end up covering that word, so that's okay. It would probably be cut off anyway by the shape of the top of the tag. So let's just cover it up. I know it's under there. You know it's under there. And it's our little secret. And who knows what journal this will end up in. Right. Just one more little strip. Let's go with this one since it's already smaller. Might just give it a bit of a rougher edge. Oops, it doesn't want to tear off in a nice strip. Just little fragments. Oh, it's nice though. I can smell the coffee still on it. It smells quite yummy. Oops, I do need one straight edge there. So let's just cut that. And pop that in there. And so that'll be our base of our tag. And got a nice, oh, there's a whole patch down there I haven't filled, so we're not finished yet. Goodness, getting ahead of myself. Right, so pop this one down here. Yep. Again, give that a little rougher edge. Oh, it doesn't want to tear at all. It's really tough. I do find that when you dye paper, whether it's eco dyeing or coffee dyeing, it changes the texture of the paper, which is really interesting. It can go crunchy, it can go tougher, like stronger, or it can go weaker. And it depends on the paper and what you've dyed it with and how long you've left it in whatever solution, and also how you've dried it. So mine are dried on top of the fire, and I think that definitely changes something in the way that the paper is. Right, let's put a vertical bit in there to finish off. Yep, that will look good there. Oh, that other side is actually really nice and grungy, so let's use that side. Right, now we have it all collaged up. and I think that's quite fun. I do. Right, so our die cut, how do we want to place this? And of course you don't just use these elements, you use whatever other elements that you would like to build your tag. And I think I can collage the back of it once I've finished, and so I'll do that off camera. So I'll do the tag corners now, and I'm going to make it a nice wide tag. I was going to trim it down. I was like, oh, why not make a nice big one for a change? So we're not losing any of that beautiful coffee dyed effect. Okay, so definitely want to layer it up with some bits. So since we've covered over our book page, let's add some book page. Seems a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? But you know, these things are all about layering. Creates the rich effect that we end up with. So here's just a bit of a book of some description. Perhaps a little bit large for what I want. Get rid of some of this hair bit down the side. Probably end up making it too small. Keep tearing bits off. No, that's probably about right actually. And maybe some music paper as well, or something. How about some numbers? We've got this conversion table out of an old book. So let's try a bit of that. I'm looking for the colours of the paper as well. And this has got that nice creamy colour. Yep, I like that. And I think a bit of music as well. We might as well do the 3, groups of 3. As you can see, I'm not being precious about how I tear it. I'm just ripping into it. Oops. Sometimes hard to position things where you want them while they're still all loose. Something like that I think's good. Okay, so let's glue those down. Just change out my glue page since it's getting quite sticky with the goopy glue. I've got one that's even goopier than this, and I'm using it only times when I can be bothered dealing with its goopiness, because it tends to put more on than I want, and then it smooshes out the side, and then I've got to clean it up, and it just like just can't be bothered with it sometimes. But I don't want to throw it away either. That's like, that costs money, got to use it. And our little list of numbers. That. And where did I put the die cut? There it is. Okay, I definitely want to edge the die cut because it does blend in a little bit since it's that pale yellow colour. So let's give it, it's going to be interesting to try and edge it actually. So let's see how we do. Doesn't matter if it gets all, you know, ink in places on the front of it. It'll just aid to that grungy look. But I do want it to stand out more, so, and I'm not going to do in all the little gaps, but this bit's damaged, so I can get in there. I think I'm just gonna actually give it a sponge bath. That's what I'm gonna do, people. I'm gonna give it a sponge bath. Darken it up a bit. Doesn't so much have the edging effect, but it will darken it. And so you could do this with any colour too, to give it a different effect. See if I can hit some of those tips. Give the framing effect. Yeah, I've already cut a couple of leaves off because they got very bent. So the sooner I can glue it down, the better it will be. Yeah, how's that looking? It's better. It's not entirely how I'd want it, but I just don't want to risk damaging it any further. And I'm going to need to use tacky glue because there's no way I'm going to survive a glue stick with all those hollows to gouge out my glue stick. So let's use a wet glue. Just try and skim it along those fine details. And I'm going to have to use a tissue or something when I put it down to catch all the bits that spill out. So I don't get too particular with all the fine little details. I just sort of run the glue over it so that it holds in some places. It doesn't need to hold everywhere. Just don't want any bits sort of lifting up. So as long as it hits on some area of the finer details, you'll find it generally does pretty well. Right. So let's lay it down. I can see I've got glue all over the front too. And tissue at hand. And that glue will all disappear, you know, it won't be visible. There might be little shiny bits, that's okay, I don't mind little shiny bits. Oops, it's bringing up some of that ink that I put on. Smush it down. Just one little area I think needs an extra bit of glue love. There we go. Hold it down for a second. Right, now what else might we like to pop on this? So we've got all our prompts covered. We've got our tag shape, or our tag. We've got a die cut, so I've chosen a die cut as opposed to punch. You can choose either or both. And we've got grunge going on. So let's give it a bit of ink around the edge while I have a think about what else I might like to add to our tag. Thinking maybe a label. I'm kind of wondering whether I pick out the birds and do something with those, add a different colour to them or something, just for maybe a bit of difference. How about a little bit of glitter glue on our birds? It's possibly the wrong colour. It's definitely not grungy, but you can mix the two because we have already got our grungy element. The whole thing doesn't need to be grungy, so you can just do something that's grungy. So let's just put a little bit of glitter on our birdies. Just a little bit of fun. And this is like a clear gel with a sort of a bluey green glitter suspended in it. It's called paint, but it's not really paint. Just to give them a little bit of a shine. you might not be able to pick it up in camera. It's sort of quite subtle for glitter. I can always go in with a second coat if I find once it's dry that it's not. Oh, there's something else in there. Don't want you. If it's not a strong enough effect once it's dry, I'll go in with a second coat. But, so that, I like that. It's nice. Let's look at a label. I'm thinking I've got very neutral colours going on here. So I don't know whether these neutral coloured labels are going to sort of blend in too much. Might actually be the wrong size. Oh, Holland gin. I'm not a gin drinker, but kind of sounds interesting. Kind of doesn't really work with the birdcage though. It doesn't make sense. Not that it needs to make sense. It doesn't at all. Shake the bottle. That's kind of fun, but maybe not. I don't want to shake up the birdies and get headaches. It made my husband laugh in the kitchen. No, they're not doing it. They're just blending in a little bit too much for me. So let's try a different label. See what my watercolor labels, hand-drawn watercolor labels look like on here. They're certainly brighter. But I'm not sure that I'm feeling it here either. Oh, that one. I like that one actually. So let's go with that one. So this is part of a printable that's available on my Etsy. Watercolor hand-drawn labels is the name of the set, and there's 2 A4 pages with, I can't remember how many labels, but lots, and some are horizontal and some are vertical. So if you're interested in those, head along to my Etsy and have a look. Right, so I'm just going to pop that there. And I am thinking a number. You know I am. Oops. Because by now you know that I love putting numbers on things. And my husband laughing at me again. I'm glad I'm amusing you today, darling.
Well, I'm your second husband, so.
Yeah. What's this one look like? Oops, better not forget I've got wet glitter paint on there. Let's end up with glitter spread everywhere. No, don't like it there. It's not the right one. How about this one? Let's give it a bit of a trim down, I think. It says 44 cents. Yep, happy with that. And this paper that it's stamped on is old book page, and it doesn't take to glue stick, this particular paper I've found, so I'm just going to go ahead with some tacky glue to make sure it stays down. There we go. So I am quite happy with that. It's very simple, very quick, very easy. These challenges don't need to take a long time. You can put as little or as much effort in as you like. Just make something that you are happy with, that you like, using the prompts. So there we go. That is the Deal It Up challenge for today. Go and make a tag of your own, and if you'd like to share it, then you can tag me on Instagram, VisualizedNZ, or you can pop it into our Facebook group, Visual Vibes, and the links are down in the description box. Thanks so much for joining me today. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.